Hey, everybody. My name is JP Leonard.
And I'm Tyler Arceneaux.
And this is a special episode of We're Dying Down Here. Stop rubbing his head.
As you can see, we are full.
We're guying down here. This is episode 8.
The
Special guest. We brought in Michael Corey and Drew Gautreaux from the First 5 podcast. Episode 8. We're dying down here.
Yeah, they're gonna be with us the whole episode.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere.
Oh yeah, Hack Watch.
They're gonna be.
Hot.
We're gonna play an intro, and they're gonna be here still.
Roll that footage. And we are back.
We went nowhere.
We did.
We went no. Every single time he says we are back, as though there's some sort of magic trick happening.
Yeah,
it's commercial land. David Letterman didn't go anywhere. He didn't go change his socks or anything.
We just all farted and went back to talk.
Oh, that's true. This is episode 8 of We're Dying Down Here. We changed it up. We brought in special guests, 2 local comedians, and they run a awesome podcast, the First 5 podcast. Welcome, Michael Corey, Drew Gautreaux.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Second best podcast in Lafayette.
We're the third.
What's the first?
Some dude
Probably
playing Twitch in his mom's basement.
Bobby Novosad's fucking.
Bobby Novosad's Botox Weekly. You hear Bobby? Call in, you hack.
Dude, I heard that dude on the radio the other day saying Vero School Road and Bonin.
Yeah, he's lived here for 30.
Yeah, like come on, man,
times
get
12
with
years,
it, bro.
Yeah.
That dude's still alive?
He's dead to me.
I thought I heard he died.
No, he's still. Well, the Botox keeps you alive. So, all right, we gotta move on. How are we doing, guys?
Really good.
All right,
Well,
great.
now that I know Bobby Novosad's still alive, better than I was 5 minutes ago.
Shout out local legend.
Yeah. All right. So this is the first show we didn't bring a national headliner. We gotta give him a break. But we are here. We're gonna. I don't know. Did we plan this? What were we gonna talk about?
I mean,
Tyler?
look, I've got things to talk about.
Oh,
Michael was with me on a little adventure. Let's see. Is that the logical place to start, though?
Let's go, man. Let's
All
start
right.
from the shows.
I did a Don't Tell show in New Orleans.
Why are you talking about it?
It was booked by
Tyler Durden.
Tyler Turden.
The first rule of Don't Tell is don't tell anyone where it's at. I actually had some people from my Waking Life show up. They bought tickets. Somebody messaged me and was like, I'll see you at the rail yard. And the only way you could know where the venue is if you bought tickets. So.
Oh, yeah. How'd it go?
It was pretty hot. I ain't going to lie.
Yeah.
It was going to be a very beautiful venue. It was going to be outside, but it was raining. The outside area would have been dope. I mean, it looked like the set of like a spring break Palm Beach movie.
Yeah.
Or something. And then we ended up doing comedy in a little sex dungeon instead.
The pictures look good. It looked cool.
It was cool. It was kinky. It felt illegal, which is, I guess, just in the style of Don't Tell.
Yeah.
But the show was pretty fire, I must say. Pretty stacked lineup. Laura Sanders, DC Paul, Siamedes, Mystic somebody.
Mystical was there?
Mystical was
Watch
there.
yourself.
Mystic Hightower.
Mystical Hightower.
Go ahead. I've seen them at Grand Street. Go ahead.
How'd you not remember that?
That was a real band. Mystical Hightower. All right, great.
Yeah, it was a pretty fire show. Michael, you saw it. You were an audience member.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, it just ramped up. But like Tyler was third, and it was when he took the stage. I mean, I'm surprised. I don't know, just like the ground was shaking a little, and not.
Damn.
No,
Let's go to our sponsor, Ozempic.
Look, bro,
that's not.
We got to start getting real sturdy stages. Is all. That's what he's trying to say.
I thought I was gonna get the first fat joke off.
No, it was really he really blew me away. I mean, you know, it's like if you watch somebody do their material over and over and over again, and then you can still be impressed. I really think that says a lot. He really just there was a huge step up, you know.
Yeah.
From the when he took the stage, it was like kind of one of those things headliners talk about, where you intentionally book people so that when the headliner takes a stage, you can tell there's a big step up in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really good. Tyler,
As
killed.
though anyone had any doubt. No, I will say this though. There was like, I appreciate the kind words. There was something strange that happened. I'm normally the type of person that is incredibly prepared. Like, regardless of whether I'm riffing, doing crowd work, I always get back to my set and what I was planning to originally do. But because of the way that I craft my sets and like jokes lead into jokes and have callbacks, I accidentally made a mistake where I went into a newer joke that I had been recently working out, so it was on my mind, and it wasn't on my set list. But doing this joke put me in a weird situation where I had to make the decision to like go back to what I had planned, which wouldn't have made sense, or to go a completely different direction, which is what I did. Ended up doing a bunch of new stuff from my notebooks, a singular notebook.
I brought my Trapper Keeper.
But it all worked, man. New stuff, new tags. I was free. I was loose. I felt as good as I ever had. So it was great.
So let's piggyback off of that, because me, you, and Drew, we ended up doing a fire freaking show at Gator Cove Gator Fight. The first one sold out. It's good to say I sold out a show, but man, that was a hot crowd. Now I'm gonna tell you, I was worried. Michael's there. He could tell you. There's a lot of old people there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some of the bartender's granny was there, and like some other old people, and I'm like, this is not gonna go well. And then we had the most mixed audience of mixed white people.
Yeah, not mixed as in
so, no.
any amount of black at all.
We had a good variety of white people. We had like old people, we had people in the middle, and then we had like some hot chicks. Like there was at least 10 to 15 stupidly hot chicks. Like they shouldn't have been here for comedy, and they were the best. That was great audience, other than like 4 people in the back.
Yeah, it almost felt like a really tight little club room.
Yeah.
Just 75 people?
75 to 80.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, it was thunderous, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, everyone had fire sets. Shout out to Mike Honore and Josh Watts and Drew and you. Yeah, that was just
that was
magical.
another one where I was just kind of going with it, too, because the fucking producer, Lord have mercy, if we could just get some good producers around here. The producer didn't bring...
Jacob Guidry's pretty good.
He didn't bring a stool on the stage.
Yeah, that bothered me too.
Yeah, and I had nowhere to put my drink down. Luckily, I'm very funny and very quick-witted, and I was like, you know what? Ron White never puts his drink down. Tyler Arceneaux doesn't need to put his drink down either. So I kept the mic in the stand, kept my drink in my hand, and I continued to slay for upwards of 21 and a half minutes.
I'm so glad you were born with 2 hands.
Drew was on that show, too. Drew, how'd it go for you?
Oh, it was very fun.
Yeah?
Like I said, I was listening to like open mic sets, and I found a joke I used to do, and I just forgot about it. Like I don't even have it written down. It was written down at some point, but it got lost. And I heard that it was like the first time you put your jacket on in the fall, if you find like $20 in the pocket. That's what it felt like. Like it was I was like, man, I need a different like opening joke. And then I found that day, so that was fun. And it did pretty good.
Nice. Well, I mean, I thought the show was great.
The show was great.
It was great,
minus the stool. I mean, just...
People were coming up to me after. We were all hanging out by the fire. Somebody...
shout out to the Gator Cove for the biggest, beautiful fire pit.
And
like, that was great.
And what's the brewing company? What's it called?
Wildcat
Brothers.
Brothers.
Yeah. So there was a whole bunch of talk around the fire afterward, and there was this one guy who kept going, hey, who did this joke? Who did this joke? Who did this joke? Every single one was mine. he's like, who did that fucking Pete joke? Who did that Nazi joke?
I don't remember that guy.
Yeah. Sound like you're making shit up.
Yeah, I think you're taking advantage of the old fashions we were drinking.
Shout out to Tate Martin, who one of the owners over there, and Lexi, who was kind of running it, and May, the bartender. Everyone was great. I mean, it was a great show. We're back there on March 2nd, 2 shows this time, so it's gonna be pretty dope. So. All right. Any other shows in the middle before I
Yeah,
go?
Stone Drunk Sober, Mardi Gras, like
Hell yeah.
there was all kind of shit that happened that you're
it's
just
kinda
like
slow.
you're like we don't need to be running through these segments. We got these boys for an hour here.
Yeah. So we did the biggest pre-sale for Stone versus Drunk versus Sober versus Mardi Gras. We had over 200 in pre-sale, which is bonk. We don't get national comedians that pull that, and we had more at the door. And it was 8 comedians plus me hosting, and it was stupid.
Now
It
look,
was magical.
last episode,
Oh boy.
I went on a tirade. No, I'm joking. I went a little bit out there.
Tyler ate.
You know, I did eat. Last episode, you know, I talked about how I won a competition but didn't win the competition, right? This time, the exact same fucking thing happened, you guys. It is ridiculous. It is rigged. I might not do Stone Drunk Sober anymore. This is...
Everyone gets paid the same. Just saying. And the winning
I've
and the
stuck
winning
at 14
team does,
wins since 1983.
oh, maybe you should look within. And
Need
the
to
winning
look-
team doesn't
look
get to come
inward.
back. Yeah. So no, that was stupid. That was a stupid
fire. Yeah.
Stupid.
What a great show.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm the one that won, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Next segment. Drew and Matt McCann. Matt's first non-open mic show, and y'all were Team Mardi Gras. Which would you care to say what y'all were on?
Yeah, I was on shrooms.
He was on mushrooms for the lamers there, and man, it was freaking great. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
Take me through the day, like the shrooms and the thought process behind how many you were taking and what you're doing. Because I have done it on acid several times, which is like completely crazy and unhinged. And I've never done it on shrooms, but I'm not sure what the difference might be.
Well, I had tried the dosing like the Monday before. And it's a good thing with Matt. I even had a talk with Matt because he hadn't done it before. And I told him, I said, look, man, you don't want to make this mistake a lot of people make on Stone Drunk Sober, where for some reason they think the object of the game is to get the most fucked up you've ever been in your life. You don't
Shout
have
out
to
Maggie Shipley, Team Drunk.
Like, you don't have to do it. Like, you want to be under the influence of the thing you're on, but you don't have to get so wrecked that you suck. You know what I mean? So he did pretty good with that too. But yeah, earlier it got a little intense before I went up because there was so many people in here and they were kind of wild. But then once I got on stage, it was good. You know, the shrooms give you that warm, floaty, happy feeling, and I had that, and that's perfect for doing comedy.
Last one we did when Tyler and Ken were on acid, all the wristbands were glow in the dark wristbands.
Yeah.
And so you got the whole audience in here, and like you seeing that, and I had it wrapped everywhere. It was great. I forgot to do that for you guys, but you guys did all right. Yeah.
Did you have trouble remembering your material or anything?
No,
like that?
not at all.
Yeah. It
Like
did.
riding
Yeah.
a bike,
No.
huh?
Yeah, it
I was
flowed
watching
good.
his set closely, and I was like, no, it's clicking.
The thing that that I worry most is alcohol about stuff like that. I think I worry more about drinking too much,
Yeah.
which I would still do. Like I would do Team Drunk, but I would be more nervous about that than I think being on mushrooms or being high or even being sober.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to sacrifice the integrity of the show, I think. But
Yeah.
also the spirit, be in the spirit. So
Look, you didn't puke and you didn't pee on the stage.
Yep.
So win.
That
you know?
time.
Yeah, that time. So I had a little trip in between there. The night after Stone versus Drunk versus Sober versus Mardi Gras, I left Saturday morning, went to a little place called Austin, Texas.
yeah, never heard of her.
All right. And I went hang out with the wonderful comedian Joe List. So
Heard of him.
Yeah, he was headlining, sold out 4 shows, so got to hang out in the green room, smoke. It was him, Sarah Tolamash, Karen Feehan, people passing through Hinchcliffe and everything. Good hang. Watched his new hour, which was great. Watched Sarah, watched Karen. It was really fun. I did the Filthy show at 11
At the Creek.
At the Creek. So much fun. Here's the thing. We don't have comedians popping through shows. You're over there and you look and you're like, there's 10 people I've seen on TV just hanging out. You're like, what? Yeah. So backstage, and I guess I should admit this, but they had a about this much of a bottle of Angel and Envy, and that became in my glass. And then I went out and had a great fun set, and it was just dirty, so it was great. And then we ate the best hot dog ever, which we need to talk about when we go back. The best hot dog ever.
I'm skeptical already.
It will change your life. And then
I'm an Oscar Mayer boy.
Oh, well, not this one, man. This is a shady food truck hot dog. By the way, I have a tapeworm. No. And then the next night, old daddy, that's me, got to do the comedy mothership, the little boy. They call it the door guy, the developmental set.
Just to be clear, it's only called the little boy when he's there.
Yeah. I was thinking of a joke about.
They're like, we got your rider, little boy. Anyway.
So the fat man was in the little boy that night.
There we go. Oh, yeah. There we
Combine
go.
them together.
We just turned the stove on.
Jesus Christ. You guys are so rude. So at 7 o'clock, they do the open mic where any urchin from the street can sign up, and that's from 7 to 8, which is cool. So I got there like super early. Johnny Diaz with me. He works the door and everything. He got a ticket to go, so he got in there. So I just sat in the back, very back, and watched the open mic. And it was an open mic. Like, they had some good people. They had some good sets, and there were some sets, and there was someone who ran the light by like a minute, and everyone was pissed. And then they're like, all right, 8 o'clock. They're like, that's the end of the open mic. Now it's the door guy, developmental part. And they're like, and they sold it really well, and they turned all the lights off. And then I was first. And dude, I've never had the most driest mouth in the world. I couldn't even talk. Like, I was like, if I bite my lip, maybe I can get blood to moisten my mouth.
If you would stop sucking Joe List's cock so much before the show.
All right, Colin.
Just, be normal.
Yeah, got the hurt mouth.
But I was so nervous. But and it was also Super Bowl night, but the place was sold out, which was crazy. So did my 5. I stayed. That mic from start to finish. Well, the 7 to 8. That's whatever. The door guy portion is 8 to 10. So if you buy a ticket for that, it's 3 hours. Crazy. We stayed to the very end. We left. Boom, bought a shirt. Went back to the hotel room. Dropped off stuff, and then I went to the creek and hung out all
What'd the
night.
shirt say? I was inside the little boy.
It has a white collar.
All I got was
Just
this
right here.
stained T-shirt.
All right, guys. I'm not going to go to a sponsor. But anyway. So it was very nerve-wracking. Got to do it. Got to hang out. And but I'm happy to say that I am back there March 24th and 25th doing the mothership again, doing the mic thing. So I'm going to try Sunday, Monday. I want to.
You can do both.
I'm gonna be there for Kill Tony night too.
Nice.
So I want to see if I can weasel in that. But so it was fun. It was a big get, but it's something freaking good to have, and it's probably the most scared I've ever been. But once you're there, it's like, oh, this is cool. And you're just like, oh, it's just a show. But like watching the people that come, there were people from LA and everywhere else, but like just watching people work stuff. And there were people who did like 15. I watched a comedian do 15 minutes on one topic on Denny's.
Dang,
And
how much can you say about a Grand Slam breakfast?
15 minutes worth. And it was great.
I like my eggs over hard.
Was his name Dusty Slade?
No, he wasn't there.
Really
That
just digging
sounds
in.
like something he could do.
Yeah, but no, it was cool, and I got it's just cool seeing people. So it's a totally different world over there. But yeah,
It really is, yeah. I enjoyed it. Who you ran into out there? Anybody? Any name drops?
So Mike Eaton, who we got coming up.
Shout out to Mike Eaton.
Mike
my
Eaton.
homie.
I'm just saying that because we got coming up in March 21st, maybe. Yep, March 21st.
Yeah, Thursday.
You saw Cam Patterson. Had a good chat with Hans. A few other people that you recognize from Kill Tony and Mothership sets, and it was just it was. It's a different world. It's a different beast. That whole area, you got Sunset Strip right there. You got the Valve, you got the Vulcan, you got the Mothership. Plus, you jump a street over. You got the
the creek's right there.
The
East
creek,
Austin
you got
Comedy,
the creek right
East
there.
Austin Comedy Club
East
right
Austin
around the
Comedy.
corner.
You got another one that's like new. So I mean, it's a
Fallout Theaters right there.
yeah. You just walk and it's just like
Yeah.
you're kind of immersed. And like people shit all over the homeless over there. Had no issues. Like no issues.
They shit on the homeless.
Yeah, usually the homeless are the ones shit.
Well,
Like
all right.
they're the one. They don't even have bathrooms. Like
I did watch a guy like he was passed out like in flower beds with like fresh mulch, and I was like, nah, he's fine. And,
Look, bro, you need to start taking care of Johnny Diaz.
Shout out Johnny
Trials
Diaz.
and tribulations of a Lafayette comedy door guy.
Johnny rolls with a lot of chocolates. Anyway, had a good time, and I can't freaking wait to go back. So
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
yeah.
I mean, I guess Austin's kind of turning into like the comedy mecca, kind of. I mean, New York's still the North Star, I feel like.
Yeah.
But
a lot of migration that way, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, also had
Mexicans, right? When are they going to deal with that border?
It is Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of,
4 more years.
I had the best meal. Okay, let me preface this. I'm a fat guy.
This is the kind of segment I like.
I have a fat card. Okay. I had, and when I say this, I'm not exaggerating. I'm gonna move my drink so I can emphasize this. I had the best food I've ever tasted in my little husky boy life.
What?
It was a place called ATX Acadiana. It's like a Mexican fusion place. Johnny, his whole family's from Puerto Rico. Johnny didn't even speak English when he was born. I guess none of us did. But as a kid, his parents...
Goo goo gaga, bitch.
Yeah. El goo goo. So Johnny's parents are Puerto Rican. That like they mainly speak Spanish. So he's eating everything that Latina based. And we ate at this place. We got there at 4. That's when they opened. There was no rush. It was freaking Super Bowl Sunday. We sat at the bar, got a couple margaritas, and they had a special little like happy hour menu. And we ordered a pork taco, a fish taco, and when I took the bite of the pork taco, I just put it down and I went, no. And he goes, is it bad? I'm like, I can't comment until you, as an official representative of this, tells me what it is. And he took a bite and he like threw it away from him, and he goes, what did I just eat? And then
I cannot even.
And then we went through food like a angry white lady, and it was the best. And the last thing was this tostada with all kind of stuff. Like it was like a mushy, I don't know what it was there, but they had grilled octopus on top. And when I tell you, when we took a bite, I almost left my whole family.
Damn.
It was hands down, and he said it, the best food we've ever eaten. I've ever eaten in my life. So I'm back there.
Jeez, how was the octopus?
It was great. It was amazing.
Yeah,
Everything was amazing.
I suction cup on your.
I hope it's still sticking inside of me right now. Anyway, I had a good time in Austin.
Nipples, anus.
Whatever you're into.
Yeah.
Whatever you
Little
want
kiss.
getting sucked.
Yeah.
I take what I can get, buddy. All right.
Shout out to Austin, Texas, the whole city.
The whole city. I love you. Except for that guy peeing on himself.
Yeah.
All right. What are we on to next? This is weird.
No, it doesn't have to be weird. It could just be boring.
I could have cut all that stuff.
Let's ask these guys some questions. We
Oh
have
yeah.
guests.
Oh yeah. Normally, this is so weird. Normally, this is where me and Tyler go to an interview, and then it's a totally different thing. We're wearing different clothes.
Yeah. So let's go to the interview.
Yeah, that's something just happened above us. I think they're humping. But yeah, so now we're going to the interview. So Michael Corey, Drew Gautreaux from the First Five podcast. Welcome.
It's good to be here.
Yeah.
Right,
Do you guys have answers to the interview questions?
What's that?
Do you have answers to the interview questions?
Yes.
We do answers to the questions
Yeah,
after.
no.
Who's the one comedian you hate in this city? Go.
Oh, jeez, I don't hate anybody that's in this scene that I hate. I don't consider to be a comedian.
That was a rhetorical question, but all right. But I'm a scroll our chat group stuff right there.
You look like,
Yeah.
God, I've been waiting to ask you this.
They're not in the chat. We know. All right, moving on.
All right, so I guess let's ask you some questions.
Who's your
about
favorite comedian in the scene?
Not at this table, and does it rhyme with bone? Anyway, how long have you been doing comedy, Michael?
I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary in the spring here. When Nate Bargatze comes into town, that'll be 2 weeks or 2 years from me.
Does he know?
We've been talking.
We could
Okay.
tell him.
Don't spoil it.
I don't know him, but I could reach out.
Drew, you?
About a year and a half. I realized I just made about a year and a half.
Nice.
So when Nate Bargatze comes to town, it'll be
2 more
Still
months.
a year and a half.
A year and 3/4.
Yeah, don't do y'all math the exact same way.
Nate
All right, guys,
Bargatze
thank you for
plus
coming.
one.
Y'all can leave.
Well, they're great at regular math.
Listen, I listen to you guys' podcasts every other Monday. It is what I look forward to the most as soon as I remember that it comes out. When I see one of you guys advertising it, I'm like, I knew I wanted to hear that today. So every week it's the exact same. I love it, man. I love that you guys are digging into some people that I don't know if I would hear some of these people talk so in depth about comedy, because oftentimes that shows we're doing our own thing. You know, we're not, even if we're riffing and hanging out and cutting up, we're not necessarily talking about a whole lot of shop.
Right.
So it's so cool to hear some of these people that I see in our scene and hear them talk about comedy, because a lot of these people surprise me with their nuanced understanding of the game. It really is awesome. So I appreciate what you guys have been bringing to the table.
Yeah.
It means a lot to me, and I've heard good things from a lot of people too.
I still don't trust them, but I appreciate it. Yeah. No, like
man?
Derek Shirley was and all the guests. Yeah. Derek Shirley's was great. That it came out yesterday. That was good. Like just to hear him talk. That's a thick Mississippi
Yeah.
accent.
Yeah.
Like he should have cattle or
Yeah.
pigs. Or
He's a
something.
funny guy in like a different way than other people
It's
are
weird.
funny.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe
I like it though.
I don't know how
Yeah.
to describe how he's like subtly funny.
Yeah.
Like he says a lot of things that if you're just an audience member watching his set, you may not catch all the little different ways by which he's funny, but he's just so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So y'all moved to video, like kind of a good number of episodes in, right? Your audio for a while.
Yeah, we're at around 35 episodes now, and so 2/3 of those are audio only, and then the last dozen have been video episodes on YouTube. It was a big leap, we thought, to go from audio to video. So we just waited, until we felt like it was a good idea, and it was a lot of work went into getting a good launch. A lot of for the set to be looking nice, and the multi-camera stuff, and investing in going from HD to 4K cameras and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a heavy lift. We just wanted to wait.
Yeah.
Y'all
No, I mean,
stick
but-
with it. Y'all get there. I will say, y'all need some fucking plants on this thing.
Plant my set.
Yeah, our set game is not quite there.
Well, we just got we just got new banners, so these are more for the show, like the shows here. But we changed it up. We got some stuff. We got still the sign. I keep promising the sign. It'll be here next time.
I was
think.
just
It's
cracking
coming.
a joke. I didn't realize this was such a fucking. I didn't realize this was gonna be such a soft spot for y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm pretty hurt.
Actually, we
kidding
should
around.
start the podcast over.
Yeah.
We should really
Hey
just
guys,
take this a
welcome to
different
episode
direction.
8. No, it's cool. I like the difference of worlds, because y'all are like, I'm gonna call it a set, because that's where y'all at. Y'all is really fun. And then here we kind of, we had the big crazy banner before. That's gone. Now we got the 2, so now we're trying to adjust it for that. But we wanted this to be a stage setup, because of it. It's,
Yeah, and this is cool. Like, I think it would be fun to do do this live.
yeah, that's
We're
gonna.
gonna-
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's gonna happen.
do this for a while and get it rolling.
We're gonna try to do a certain guest in April. We may try to do a live podcast.
Yeah. As soon as we get more than 11 congruent listeners, I think that we're really going to be able to launch ourselves into the comedy stratosphere.
This podcast is done. I'm looking for a new
That is joke building on the fly, you guys.
At the moment, I was like, "Am I high right now?"
Comedisphere? Is that what
I
that
don't
be?
think I'm
Drew
high.
Shrooms.
Comedy sphere.
Y'all have I heard a rumor y'all have a top list or something. Is there a secret list going on that you're talking about?
Oh, well, okay. So
Are we ready for
on their
that?
last episode,
Yeah.
there was a bullet pointed list of things that Michael has pieced together. I guess the best way to describe it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a list of traits that good comedians tend to have. Right?
Yeah.
And I say that very specifically because some of them, for whatever reason, when I hear something like that, I can't wait for somebody to start going through the list so that I can be like, nah, you know? So that's why I say it like that, because
A low BMI? Nah.
well, just the way my brain works, it's like I want to be able to be like, well, there is outliers, right?
Right.
But some of them, look, go check out the first 5 if you want to hear them all. Some of them are more intriguing to me than others. I think one of the ones that is most important up near the top of the list was confidence, right? Like a good comedian tends to show confidence, right? And there's little caveats that you used whenever you describe that by saying like, showing a lack of confidence on purpose is not the same thing as not having confidence, right? But confidence on stage, confidence off stage, the understanding that what you're doing is funny, and I think that was a strong one, right?
It's like overall confidence in material and your abilities.
Right.
Like you don't really have to have it so much in everything else, but as far as your material and like confidence that like I know I'm funny.
Yeah.
That sort
And
of
there's a
thing.
big difference between being nervous and having confidence. Like,
Yeah.
I was confident in my set, but I was nervous as shit because it's the nerves. Like, I get, like, for certain open mics, I call it, like, heart palpitations, where I have to, like, remember, like, breathe deep, breathe out, try to control that heart rate. But, I'm confident in my set. I just got to get my whole body under control,
Yeah, I mean, the fight or flight is involuntary, and so I don't think anybody should ever wonder, how confident they are based on whether they get nervous or not. And like Drew was saying, it's really just important to make the distinction up top that personal confidence is kind of a separate conversation. Comedic confidence is something you can have regardless of whether you're really kind of killing it in any other area of your life.
Bedroom.
I'll agree that some people have too much confidence and they
yeah.
don't warrant that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Unearned
Let's name
confidence
names.
abounds.
That's delusion, right?
okay,
like
yeah, sorry.
that level of delusion is always interesting.
Is that
to
his
me.
stage name, Delusion? That'd be a great name. Please welcome Delusional.
Delusion the comedian.
Yeah. He humps the stool.
Don't take it. That's mine. All right.
Another one that I think is dead on is novelty. Just the idea of somebody being novel in one respect or another with their material, their delivery. They don't just blend into a sea of 1,000 comedians talking about the same thing from day to day, and maybe something about the way they deliver comedy or structure their sets or what they talk about is novel. Their take is novel. A word that I never really used when describing comedy until I heard you say that. So yeah, I really like that. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I think it's more important than ever now with this comedy boom you're having.
More
Everyone's fucking trying to do comedy, like, and there's the internet, so that everybody can hear everything everyone's saying. So you've got to be finding something new to talk about, or if you are talking about what everyone else is talking about, find a different angle or a different take to come about it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I love going to different cities, because you get a wider, you cast a wider net of the comedians you have, and you hear someone who talks about something that's just so off the wall, and like, why did I never think of that, or I never even thought about that topic, and then you kind of like, all right, I need to do a little self-reflecting here on like what should I do better,
Right. I get so much inspiration from hearing somebody have a fresh take on something or just come up with a non-typical premise. I mean, my earliest memories of being an appreciator of comedy as like elementary school kid was that thought. That thought we've all had probably early on when we first started realizing we loved comedy was right in front of me the whole time. Why did I never see it that way?
I know we watched that. I forget his name, but I follow him on Instagram. He did the last Monday night's episode of Kill Tony, or was it last week, where he talked about like it flushing things down the toilet. Don't flush anything other than toilet paper. And he's like, what am I doing with all this shit? It's like, dude, that's been there for years.
That's pretty funny.
Like, I've heard so many takes on like employees must wash their hands. People were like, well, then I just waited there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It kind of upset me when I saw it.
No,
I was
pissed off. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, and it makes me kind of like Dusty Slay has a lot of bits that I'm like, dude, like an ironing board everyone's been in a hotel room or awning board, and he's like, the price of awning board, it's easier, it's worth it just to take it, and they charge you for it, you come out ahead, you know? And it's like, damn it, that's been there, you know? And I try to think, like, did I have anything?
That's some
similar
real
to that?
shit too. That he did the math on that.
Oh, yeah,
like,
totally.
Yeah, that's almost more than a joke. Like he's got a Holiday Inn ironing board. At his
And then
house.
combine, so like what I think is interesting about somebody like Dusty is that's probably not novel enough on its own to be as famous as Dusty is. But you combine that with how novel he is as a character and just his delivery and everything, it's gold. It's like magical.
Yeah, you can apply the novelty principle to just about anything that has to do with you or anything that you say or think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The novelty thing too about like everyday shit like that is great because it works on almost any kind of crowd.
Yeah.
You know, without pandering, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the bullet points that I think that has like a little more leeway for being too generalized though is the relevance one, I think. And I might be doing it a discredit when I say this, and I don't know if this will make sense, but I actually think it's less important to be relevant and more important to not be not relevant.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%.
Like you don't necessarily have to be out there talking about the hottest topics on the street, but you should not be talking about topics from the 90s. Like, right?
Yeah.
But
I
you can
have
still
a
talk
great
about
clapper joke that I don't do anymore. But anyway, I'm bringing it back. Thank you.
it's something about masturbating, I'm sure,
Yeah.
right?
It's the saddest disco ever. Yeah, that's what it was.
Just epileptic seizure.
Yeah, that was one of my first early jokes, and I'm like,
Was it really?
yeah, no, I used to do it at JP's all the time. You know, like I go through a lot. The joke was I go through a lot of light bulbs because I masturbate in a room with a clapper.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that actually.
And it's the saddest disco ever. If we bring the clapper back, I've got gold.
Yeah.
But you know, it's fine.
So yeah, that is irrelevant. I would say that it's not as important as a comedian to like talk about current politics or so as it is to like don't talk about things people can't relate to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Like even if you're not being culturally relevant, I want to say there's allusion to the term like the cultural zeitgeist being like tapped into it. I actually think that is less important than just being too far the other way.
I think both of those two are right next to each other on the list, and I 100% agree with you and was thinking that the whole time that I was coming up with this, is that it's not so much that you need to be on the bleeding edge or whatever's hot. It's just don't drift too far away from it.
Yeah, don't do a joke about Titanic or Forrest Gump.
Right. Well,
Not taking shots at anyone at this table.
Got a Forrest Gump joke.
When did that Little
unique
John
take
song come out?
Yeah, sure.
I have a unique take on the Forrest Gump.
There was one night at my open mic when 3 people did a Titanic joke.
yeah.
And like it's so funny it's so funny to me to imagine or remember what it's like being a new comedian and like watching a movie for the first time as a comedian and being like, oh my God, I can't wait to like talk about this and break it down. And it's like, this movie is 30 years old now.
Yeah. The references to that was, I mean, it's such a hacky thing, and it's something that I went through my first year, just realizing for the first time that you really, I am a little irrelevant or out of touch because I think about making jokes about the Lord of the Rings or whatever. I mean, not only is that really worn out material, but it's also just kind of irrelevant to a lot of people.
It depends on what your take is.
Yeah.
You can do stuff. My thing is when comedians spend so much time doing sets about current events, and essentially that's what like Twitter's for. That's what throwaway jokes are for. Unless you're going to develop it in something. That's what like if you're on At Midnight or whatever the new show is, you're doing topical stuff. That's a perfect Twitter joke versus I'm going to base my whole 5 minutes on that, and then I may not even talk on it again, or I may, and then you're.
I'm scared of putting energy into that because as a comedian who's not like, I don't have enough eyes on me to where I need to recycle material enough to where I can write jokes like that are relevant. Every joke I write, I need to plan on doing that for a while.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm in long-term investments, man. I'm like, I'm going to lock it in. What's the interest rate? Here we go.
Jokes like IRAs.
So you guys are very different than the normal comedians we interview. We normally interview
'Cause you're
comedians.
poor.
Successful people.
Yeah, we are. Comedians who are getting paid to do comedy. I'm curious what you guys. I would never ask somebody who's good this, but what you guys. What are you guys' goals?
Go ahead, Drew.
2 chicks.
Short term, long term, anything on your mind? You trying to accomplish? You trying to get better at something?
What I would like to accomplish is okay. Well, number one thing is to be good at comedy and keep getting better, and not be doing something that I'm not proud of.
Yeah.
And career wise, it's like if I can not have to go to a job, a real job, even if it's not, I don't have to make that much. I mean, the more money I make, the better, of course. But if I can take care of my family and not have to go to work and make enough money doing comedy, then I've made it the way I see it.
That's success.
But
yeah.
If this is as good as it gets, then
What
I'll
about
take
what
it.
about more short term? Any goals you've identified that you're trying to accomplish maybe this year or next year? Submitting to festivals, I know, right?
Yeah, that's one thing I'm doing. And as far as keep working on the material I have and try to come up with new material, that's I guess that my real goal thing I need to work on right now, I think, is trying to figure out how to flip on a switch. Like, I see some people can, when it's time to do comedy, whatever else is bothering them, their job or fighting with their wife or whatever, they're able to switch on the funny switch and do this job now, you know? And it doesn't always work. Like, if
You
there's
struggle with that?
Yeah, sometimes if I'm stressed out about my life, it makes it hard. I'll have bad sets because of it. I'll have bad. I'm lucky.
Yeah.
It usually falls on a night that is an open mic, but I'll have bad sets. Or if it's just a funky vibe, like in the room it's fucking raining and everybody's just kind of down, then
Yeah.
I'll have a hard time controlling the vibe in the room. Like I see other better comedians.
I think that, yeah, that's one of those things that just comes with time. Because, like, when I hear you describing that, I'm like, I'm kind of like, some of that stuff is so monotonous to me. Like, the idea of just the weekly show and its ups and downs and how it goes, it just comes and goes. So, like, I don't put a whole lot of thought into, you know, how I'm feeling in the moment or how I'm doing. But I guess I'm somebody that can adapt pretty quickly. I don't normally bring baggage to stage.
Yeah.
Ever.
I can relate because, like, me hosting and running all the shows, my baggage, even though I try to leave work, you know, totally behind. But here, I pick up another baggage because it's
Right.
not just me coming in and doing a set.
Responsibility.
You're
I'm
running
setting
the
up
whole
the
show.
stage. I'm making sure someone's doing tickets, you know, everything. And then y'all hear me
Yeah,
all
you
the
have to
time.
take care of
It's
us.
like, all right, we're
Yeah.
playing my intro music, and I'm like,
What's your set
what's
gonna
my
be?
set? And I go, all right, here we
Yeah.
go. I think it's helped me adapt a little better because a lot of times I go up there and I go, all right, I may know what my opener is. Other than that, it's winging it, you know. But then sometimes I feel like I suffer for that. So when I get to do shows elsewhere, it's great because all I'm doing is focus. I don't care what the stage looks like. I don't care about the mic, you know. And so, yeah, no, I can totally relate to that. But it's hard to do that rational detachment just to, you know, focus on what's going on. But then if you have a fight with your wife or your your kids or someone in
sometimes
traffic,
you're just in a funky mood, like for no reason.
yeah.
You know, like it's hard to be in like I'm in a funny joking mood most of the time, but then sometimes it's like not there even or it's like I don't feel like I have the rhythm as good or something.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, as much as comedy is the best thing in the world, sometimes it's the last thing I want to do, you know? And
Yeah.
I was thinking about the other night, like, I used to, when I played music, I never canceled shows. I've played with the flu. I mean, I've played, like, horrible times.
Yeah.
Now with comedy, it's like, hey, I don't have to do a show. You know, I don't want to mess up a show for someone or whatever. But if it's a well enough in advance or something goes down, and I'm in a position to say, hey, I can't make it tonight, I apologize, I'm okay with that. I can't do that for my own shows, but that's the hardest thing for me to really overcome was that, hey, you don't have to do a show right now.
Well, if you think about it, that Rally Cap show, we don't have to get into any details, but you needed to leave for some reason. Yeah. And if you build up a good team underneath you, people, in limited amounts can.
No, totally. And shout out to y'all, and no secret on that. But yeah, like y'all, you and Brock came through in a pinch and really helped me with, what was going on. I had an emergency that I had to drive an hour back to, and it was like, I can leave everything, whether y'all bring it back or not, but I knew that the show would go on. And then, that's just that's about building a network of people who you trust, because I trust you guys. There's not many people that I trust. Can I say that?
I pay close attention to things, and I will say that you make people earn it, and I appreciate that. And I it took time, but I do feel like, there used to be a time when I was like, I'm definitely, of all the concentric circles around Jason, I'm Pluto, but yeah, over time, if you're a responsible person, you can earn somebody's trust. So that's nice.
Like I've always trusted you with audio related. So I know, hey, it's going to sound good. And then it's like, okay, who's going to finish the door? Who's going to host? Who's going to do this?
Right.
So, I mean, it's just time. But for the longest time, it was just me. Like if I can't make a show here, I don't know, and that's my next thing is trying to get this ready where if I can't make it, who's going to get the iPad to check people in, who's going to get this, who's going to get that,
Right.
So that's my next part.
All the logistics,
Yeah. All right, what else we got?
I'll do the part where you need somebody to be funny. Be like, hey Tyler, can you do the part where people need to laugh?
The good thing about Tyler is if you're
This
a comedy
one's still on,
producer, good thing about Tyler, if you're a producer, is that like he will do a booked show for you.
Look, I got no problems doing time and getting paid for it.
You have something, Michael?
Oh yeah, goals.
Particular?
Well, I my last book show was kind of an experience. That's where the list came from. And so I made that list specifically because it's things that I think good comics have in common that I did not anticipate would be as important as they are before I started comedy. And all 10 of them are areas where I would like to put my focus.
Which show was that?
That was the OB's show, the headline set and OB's. Wasn't a great match for my content and what the audience was hoping for that night. I was very proud of the performance, but I walked away from the experience. I have not gotten on stage and done comedy since then. So this will be tonight when I go to the next open mic. That'll be anyway. The point is that I made that list so that I would focus on those things. And the biggest thing out of all 10 that I want to focus on right now is being more relatable. I feel like I have spent the last 2 years in anything creative that I've done leading up to when I started doing comedy. Unfortunately for me, I got this idea in my head that it would be a good idea for anything I do creatively to focus on what makes me unrelatable and make me feel like nobody else understands what this is like, etc. And focused all of my jokes and my whole image personally and on stage around trying to like stand out and be unique and different. And I guess the novelty part of that's good, but I want to be more relatable socially and comedically. So that's kind of the number one goal for 2024.
So, I mean, but don't you see that by doing what you've done, it was inauthentic? Yeah. I mean, can you be more specific? To see, so I guess it was hard to see the forest for the trees at the time, but like, trying to be not relatable on purpose is just going to come off as like, oh, this guy's just not authentic, right?
Right. I had something.
You may not know that in the moment while it's happening.
Precisely. I never thought once in my life about being relatable, whether to not be relatable or to be relatable. I was thinking about something else, and it was causing me. That was the result. Yeah. So yes, absolutely, inauthenticity was a big part of that. So that's what I'd like to focus on.
But it's also you're bringing a different perspective, and you're coming from a different background, from the religion to, just everything else. A family, a job. I was unrelatable to a lot of comics because I had a car.
I know what you mean.
It's just different, and like me and Tyler have jobs. We all here have kids. But we all bring a different background, so it's different from like people who are just starting out or I don't know. You look at people who's been in it, 10 years. So like me and Tyler, if they don't have any family, then they have something else that's there that makes them unique. So it's what's the most common denominator between everyone,
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think, I've seen comedians do stuff and it's like braggadocious, and that takes you away from the audience. Like, oh, I've done whatever. As soon as you do that, people can't relate to you, but people can relate to being grown up real religious and whatever. So I don't think you're too offset from that. It's making your material work for you,
Yeah.
And in Matthew Broussard, who's a wonderful.
I swear I thought he was going to say
I thought he was going to do Matthew 23:14.
The Lord said,
You can do all things through Buddha who strengthens you.
Bobby Boucher.
Bobby Novosad.
Well, how were you talking about him again?
Because he got that alligator skin, ball.
Oh yeah, he rough, bro.
Matthew Broussard.
Matthew Broussard, a wonderful comedian. I got to see his Comedy Central half-hour taping, and it was the first experience I ever had with him. And he is a good-looking dude, and his first joke is he acknowledges that he looks like a douche frat boy.
Yeah.
And once he breaks that ice, you can't deny good jokes. And that's what worked for him. But that's what he looked like. And he addresses that up top, and I think it's very
All you need is exceptional comedy like Matthew Broussard.
yeah.
That's all you need, Michael.
And
That's all you need is generational talent like Matthew Broussard.
success and abs. But like first time I saw Drew, all right? Drew looks like a Drew, and when Drew does his set, it's not what you expect, and that's what I like when people bring something that
Surprise.
when people bring something that you don't expect to happen, or they talk about something like if you're let's say you're a black comedian and you're talking about like something else that you wouldn't expect, or I don't want to do it the other way. That's gonna get racist. But
You're already starting. You're getting loose.
Yeah, when you were like, let's say you're a black comedian, I was like, go on.
Go on. Like,
I was interested.
If I see a black comedian and they start like, all right, they're like, nerd stuff and Pokemon and stuff, I'm like, whoa, I'm going to pay attention because I did not expect that.
Because you're racist.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Well,
you didn't grow up with-
I've been to 2 Comic-Cons, so no, that's
a low number of Comic-Cons, honestly. I performed
I'm
at
not a
2
nerd.
Comic-Cons.
Anyway, I
Sam
like
Williams is an example of that.
Yeah.
And really, in some ways, Ken Edwards is a good example of that
Yeah,
too. I mean, people
exactly.
that have an interest that you might not expect.
When
or
Ken's
whatever.
talking about the Hulk hands and everything, it's totally different. Then you see someone like, let's take the opposite. We take Brock, okay? You look at him, he has a few Eminem albums. But then Brock starts doing stuff and you're like, whoa. And it's like, okay, this is cool. This is a little unexpected. And then, and then what Drew does, and Drew has some jokes I'm like, I didn't expect to come out. And it's not just your jokes, it's your take on things. Because you look like you should be leading a rally. But then when you do, like you set people up for even the wrestling joke or other ones where you kind of flip it on them. And then like you get people on their side, like this is one of me. And then you do by the time you're halfway through the joke, they're like, I didn't sign up for this. This is just a libtard in a John Deere hat, whatever. But that's the whole thing. You're kind of you're not pulling back the curtain. It's still magical, and you don't expect this person to be that.
Right. It's built-in novelty because people have an expectation that they set based on what you look like, and then you surprise them with your intelligence and with your surprisingly thoughtful takes on things, and it really is. And I don't know if other people are really going to be able to, like, people can't really compete with you on that level. Some people have a built-in novelty, some people don't. So if you don't have that, you got to figure something else out. But I do appreciate that about you.
Michael, do you think that like just the deconstruction of your faith later on in life has kind of made it maybe a little bit slower for you to even find yourself, much less who you are as a comedian?
Yeah, I do. I think that the deconstructing is such a I was about to say it's like having cancer or something like that, but all I meant was it's such a disruptive force in your life to suddenly have that kind of rug pulled out from under you. So that
Religion is
alone-
cancer. You heard it here. Michael Corey.
That's not too far off from my actual opinions. But yeah, it's. I do think, if anything, I'll just say that being an evangelical up until like somewhere in my 30s definitely made me weird and out of touch. And if I wanted to be a character and make that kind of a thing, I could probably capitalize on that. But I would much rather take, and I mentioned these people before, I would much rather take an approach of like a Taylor Tomlinson, a Pete Holmes, even like a Nick Thune. And instead of making it a character, just talk about it a little bit as part of your experience.
Because you don't want to be like inauthentic.
Right.
But I mean, there's a lot of people who've gone through that. Maggie talks about that. There's a lot of comedians who've, I was born Catholic, then went Baptist, and then jumped out of it in high school because I saw the true picture and I was like, I'm done. But it wasn't as impactful in my life as it was for yours, Cause, I don't know. Yeah.
But it's still something that you can relate to, and Derek brought that up too on our last episode, just talking about how it is broad enough of a thing that people can relate to it.
Yeah. All right. Man, that's the deepest shit we ever got into.
Yeah. I feel like we need to shake that off.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
It's
sprinkled
probably time to get into everybody's favorite segment.
Yeah.
Hack Watch! All right.
Wait for the graphic. All right, good. All right.
Who's kicking us off? Any volunteers?
You're kicking us off, Tyler.
Me? I'm kicking us off? All right.
So I can think of mine.
All right. Hack Watch segment from Tyler Arceneaux this week is going to be about pandering. Pandering.
The Bears?
Pandering is a problem. I think previously one of my Hack Watch was about asking questions. This is specifically getting into the idea of pandering.
I can still ask what's the deal with food?
No, that is pandering.
What about
and that
airplane
is
food?
hack shit. If you're up there asking the audience questions in the middle of your set just to get a reaction to bridge jokes, you're pandering. You're wasting time. You're wasting your time. A lot of comedians, I feel like, walk off stage and they've done half pandering, half jokes, and they feel successful about what they've accomplished.
You're.
I know someone who does pandering all the time.
Wedding DJ
Pandering
comedy.
Bears.
God damn it. That's as close as you can get to the line without crossing.
What were you saying?
Yes, a wedding DJ comedy.
That's exactly right.
I think Michael's the one I heard say that.
If you're hyping up the crowd by, just like if you're in the middle of the set, it's not going well, or maybe it's just going mid or whatever, you've got some jokes that are weak, and you're getting your big reactions because you're like, all my ladies make some noise. Where my people who like cake at or whatever it is.
We're not talking about my Stone versus Drunk host set, right? Because I have to do that. That's part of the job.
Where my drunks at?
Yeah.
No, I do that too on those shows.
All right.
That's the point of the
exactly.
show.
All right, good. Continue.
But there's I'll be honest, I see some established comedians doing 10-minute sets with 2 or 3 minutes of pandering fluff, where it's like you didn't even tell jokes for 10 minutes. You did a lot of getting the crowd hype. It's nonsense. And then I see through it. I could see it in videos. I can't imagine somebody posting that online and being like, let me show everybody how good I am at asking the crowd if they're women or not. It's crazy to me that that's the level of material that some people think is acceptable for a comedian.
Didn't someone recently ask? It seems like someone recently at a show over here asked, y'all got moms out there?
Okay, so
oh wait, that was
that's
you.
a joke that I do though. The idea of asking a crowd full of
thinking-
people if they have
Honestly,
moms.
Wasn't even remembering that was you because I thought
That's
that was
the joke though.
Yeah, you were making fun of the thing.
Yeah.
you guys breathe
I forgot.
oxygen?
Yeah.
Sometimes when I open with that, I don't know how the cleaner opens, so I just I just ironically say y'all got moms and shit.
Yeah, you're
Like,
making fun
but it's
of-
a joke.
You have something
You're
to
making
back it up.
Yeah.
Right.
and you're
just-
making fun of the thing that
You're not like,
Exactly.
where are all my ladies at? And then that's 10 minutes.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, fellas, make some noise. Oh, yeah. That sounded like more fellas than ladies.
Yeah.
Right,
Y'all gay
right.
or whatever. Like,
We're not talking about asking a hypothetical question and then moving right into the next part of it to set up a joke. We're talking about that sort of
Yeah.
crowd-pleasing, hacky.
Yeah.
You're not a fake Uber driver doing comedy.
That's right. I'm a
Yeah.
real Uber driver doing comedy, doing fake comedy.
I had to pay
There's
him
two
to get
swings. That
All right, Jason.
Oh,
you wanna-
man.
you
no, we're
next?
going down the line. Drew's
Oh, down the
next,
line. Okay.
buddy.
Okay, I decided to change mine from what I originally was going to do. This is more not so much a hack watch, but I would just think a tip from seeing people at open mics. Have some beats. Every now and then, I'll see some people that, and there's some people that have been doing it a while now, and things are not getting better. And one of the main things I would like to say is get some beats. You have no rhythm. Like, don't just talk and keep talking and keep talking. Like, if you're saying anything funny, at what point are we supposed to catch it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's on Netflix's A Joke keeps throwing up this woman on my Instagram, and I don't remember her name, but I'm not trying to shit on her either. But she has no beats, and it's like I can't even tell if she's not funny. There's just no like there has to be some kind of rhythm to it.
Yep.
And you have to give the audience a chance to catch up to what you're saying. You have to start like it should when you're on stage and a set's going good and you're doing everything right, it should feel like a song.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I think that it's only acceptable to be up there without beats in the beginning stages of a joke. Like if that's your first few times during the
Yeah.
joke, that's fine. But if you're doing the joke, you're saying you're seeing people do it for a while
To the
and
point
it's
to
not
where
getting
I
better.
want to ask them like, have
Yeah.
you ever watched a comedian do comedy ever?
Yeah,
No.
or definitely
Like,
you're not
what-
listening.
when
You're
have-
definitely not
yeah.
listening to yourself, right?
Yeah, because
yeah.
like I want to say like when have you seen a comedian get on stage, start talking, and seamlessly never stop talking? Like,
Right.
Yeah, you got to at least give an indication by your inflection.
Like, at least take a
of
breath
what you
between-
think is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about, but still.
I think what it is it's they're scared. They're scared because
Yeah, maybe
if
so.
you give an indication that you think it's supposed to be funny with your inflection and they don't laugh, you've like put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So if you never give any indication that anything's funny, you know you're good.
And that's why tags were invented,
Yeah.
because you break it up. Like I would say the most uncomfortable set I've ever seen, like uncomfortable for a crowd. And we talked about it when Sean Patton, when he was doing that tour where he was talking about like it got like deep, where I watched like the audiences cry 4 nights in a row. But he drug it out so much so he can add the most stupidest tag that broke the whole crowd back to laughter. That's fine if that's your intention, but just getting up there and you're just like, but I'm gonna cut it back to that person's not doing homework. That person is just writing stuff down. It's just a rant. They're not prepared.
Yeah.
They're not recreating that set. You won't hear it the same. And it's just a lack of understanding comedy, understanding tags, and understanding what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
100%.
across the board.
But
you
I've
know?
noticed too, like the reason that I kind of wanted to bring it up is like I've noticed like people putting their reels, and a lot of these people I don't even know, but it just shows up on your Instagram, and it's probably more than likely an open mic reel, which is fine, but I'm seeing a lot of it where it's like they don't stop at all.
It's
Like,
not. It's a
no
lack of
beats.
awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could see, like maybe if it's like your first few times getting on stage, I could see it because I remember being.
But also don't
I
put-
used to be all like this.
Yeah.
You know.
But you shouldn't be posting those on the internet either.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it's
just,
like
yeah.
it's what is the goal there? It's
Yeah.
like I just started posting reels this year.
Yeah.
Like, and I've been doing comedy 10 years.
Yeah, I
I
don't-
just got to the point where I'm like, all right, somebody deserves to see this. Like,
I don't post many. I feel like right now, I feel like more of my focus needs to be on being better at stand up and not my online presence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I
I've
agree.
got to get an act together before I worry so much about.
Yeah,
like,
you've got a long way.
Yeah,
because
because any kind of yeah, like what am I gonna do? Like any kind of thing, if I would catch a break right now,
yeah,
I can't do the job. You know what I mean? That's the thing about
Right.
comedy is everyone wants to get discovered.
yeah. What are you
But
gonna
if
do?
you
if they're
can't
like,
do the job,
they're like, hey, can
what's
you
the
do
point?
30? And you're
Yeah.
like, actually, no.
Yeah.
like literally
Well,
cannot.
Tyler, you usually hit this one on the head because you say get good. You know what I mean? And if we're in the get good stage, we can kind of hang out there for a while before we have to have our social
should.
media strategy
Yeah.
on point.
Yeah.
No
You know?
doubt, should stay there for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. That now, however, it's weird because it's like, also, me and Jason both say that we wish we would have started doing this sooner.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but we're talking
but
about the
not
difference
as
between 10
where,
years and
like,
2, you know?
yeah,
Right?
not as-
Yeah,
Well, for
there's a
starters-
middle ground somewhere. Don't
Right.
wait till year 10
Right.
to
Yeah.
start. But
Right.
also, you're right. Focus on getting good. But when year 5 rolls around, if you're good, start working on social media.
It's self-reflection and
Yeah.
and understanding where you at, and that's the biggest thing. And I call it like it's the American Idol syndrome. People get up here their first time at a mic, and they think they're God's gift because 27 of their friends come, and they come back the next week, and that's usually when they quit, when the people stop. But it's you can't help self-reflection. Like I am so hard on myself in anything I do. Like no matter, like it takes me a while for me to go, that was awesome. I am totally happy with it. It was hard for me to do that in music. It's hard for me to do that in comedy. But I like to think I have a lot of self-reflection. Before I leave the house, I'm always like, do I look fat? You know, does this work? You know, and I'm always self-checking. There are people like I get dressed in the dark, I go out and I'm killing it. You know, it's same with food. You know, you got chefs. Taste this. What do you think? What do you think? And there's just people like eggs. Here you go. It's you can't fix that, and it's that American Idol syndrome where someone is in your ear going, "You're freaking great," but they're setting you up for failure, or they just don't care. They're just lying to you.
They don't know.
Yeah.
Oftentimes
just-
they're
yeah, or they
they're
just
propped
suck,
up by
yeah.
people who don't know any better.
Yeah. And this
Yeah.
goes back into my big thing of like the whole Instagram, TikTok comedians. Like I've got this much thing, and everyone wants to see them, and then you see them, and your whole world crumbles because you realize it's dog shit. You know?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Get
no,
good.
Yeah, and followers doesn't translate into ticket sales.
Initially, and then you
Always.
start
It
dropping.
does,
Yeah.
it does, but it does
Certain
not.
people, but not-
yeah, but it's hollow, right?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it's
Yeah.
it's hollow unless it's not, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a cash grab.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Michael, you're up, buddy.
All right.
Oh boy,
Now-
he's got a gun.
Got
Oh,
notes.
sorry.
I unfortunately I hate to
Oh,
bring
poetic justice.
I hate to bring the tone back to the place I always bring it, but all right, here's my hack watch. This is comedians who aren't showing up consistently to the mics, but somehow manage to blow up the best open mic in a scene with their personal bullshit and ruin it for everyone. Between within a period of a week.
Is this person wearing a disguise?
Fucking where's Waldo ass.
Oh, this is great. This is an hour podcast.
Look,
Oh boy, I'm man of those comments. Bring it on.
this is within the span of a week. I saw one mic have to lose their fucking host, their good fucking host, and then I saw another mic have to change venues because these fucking hacks come in with their bullshit, their personal bullshit that only would have affected them if they would have been an adult. But they decided to make it every fucking comic's problem in the whole scene. And it's seriously negatively impacting the open mic, the development, the gym, the dojo for all of us that are actually showing up every week and, like it or not, getting on stage, writing new material, and trying to get good.
I'm gonna hold this table so Michael doesn't flip it.
I could feel that. That's the loudest.
Yeah.
I've been worried that
Yeah.
he
I
hasn't
really
been
like
loud
this.
enough on
I
this
like what's
podcast.
happening.
Dude, he probably blew the gains out because I'm saying it so hard, you know?
The audio's so confused.
It's like NPR talk here. Hey, I'm Michael Corey. I do comedy. You mother.
Now, this makes me. I have a question for you two guys. I've been in this scene longer, but in the year and a half I've been in the scene, I've noticed that all the people who stir up shit are
Ain't
consistently
shit.
not funny. Is it just this year and a half, or is
No,
that how
no,
it's always been?
It's
most of
all.
the time?
We can name countless people and not just in this scene. Because so let me say, Lafayette, we're good. We have very little drama because we kind of get it out quick.
Try.
Other scenes, the ain't shits cause the most shit.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then somehow it leaks over here, and it's like we just put up the wall. It's
I'm not sure if there is a direct correlation to that. It definitely seems that way, but I think what is probably the most true is that the good comedians are trying to not get involved.
Yeah.
Typically, just because other shit going on.
Yeah, because we have priorities.
even if there isn't a direct correlation, that part is at least true. Is that there are enough people that are just focused on comedy. You know, I consider kind of myself in that lane. You know, like we got some chats that we talk some shit on most of you people in. However, you know,
shout out Josh Watts,
huge piece of shit, by the way. Josh Watts.
Sorry guys, you got to put up your thumb. It's
I would blow some killer you look like right now, but I gotta save them for Saturday. But this Saturday it's fucking on, Josh.
I will say that there's one person in particular who I think Drew's mostly right. I think that's a keen observation, but I will say there are exceptions. There's one person in particular it's kind of disappointing because this person is, in my opinion, funny. I've seen one of these people be legitimately and consistently funny in all the open mic and book shows I've ever seen him be on. And it is disappointing to see somebody who it seems like if they were a little bit more focused, who knows what they could do. But yeah, it does. I've been keeping my mouth shut. There's only very few people until now have known my real feelings about this, and now everybody's going to know. But yeah, it does bum me out to see the way that people's personal issues.
My big thing is I don't want to assume other people's thoughts on this, especially without talking to them. I think I know who you're talking about when you're talking about a good comedian, but it's so different for each person because it's real easy for me to take the stance of trying to be Spain and trying not to care because I don't have interpersonal relations with any of these people. Yeah. However, if I was in that scene with personal relationships with these people that had developed in one vein or another, I don't know how I would be acting based on what information I was given. And so I've only talked to very, very few people on this, and I'm just not really willing to comment anymore, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I don't expect anybody to put themselves out there like I did. But
for me, it's not worth comment because it doesn't affect me either way. That's basically.
I don't like the whole thing about. If people have a problem, okay, I understand that. Not everyone has to be pulled into this problem, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I don't like about it.
Massive group chats don't need to exist. Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't need to be pulling everybody into some shit that has nothing to do with them.
Yeah. And that's my biggest complaint is that I completely understand there are some people probably really not affected by this, but me personally, 2 out of my 3 favorite weekly open mic spots that I would want to go to have had some sort of significant negative impact recently from this stuff. So I feel affected, but I completely understand if other people are like, well, this doesn't really affect me. So.
All right.
Wow, Jason, you had 45 minutes to think of a hack watch. You better fucking have one.
It'll be good after that one.
Yeah.
Women in comedy. No. Just kidding. It's a joke. I closed the ring when I said that. Stupid. I don't know what that meant. What ring did I close? All right. My hack watch ring. All right. Let's see. If you're not getting booked by a certain person, stop bitching to everyone else.
This sounds very specific.
It's a broad net that I am casting. So, and look, I'm gonna bring it down to like, I'm gonna say it 2 ways. I haven't got booked by certain people, and if I'm okay with it, great. If I have a problem with it, I may hit them up. Just inquire. But if you're not getting booked by, I don't know, let's say you want to do my shows, stop complaining to everyone else. Shoot me a message. Let me decline you directly rather than you just anticipating because it's not the reason.
I'll tell you what's not true It's not because you're racist. It's not because you're a bigot. It's not because we don't like your politics.
Yeah.
It's not because we don't like you.
Yeah, because
Probably just because you're not good enough.
Yeah, because
yet.
Jason books meat all the time.
And he's a racist bigot.
Probably just because you're not good
that.
enough yet. Like,
No, it's just like I'm tired of hearing it from other people, and it's what it is. It's like if you want to get booked, go through the channels that you're supposed to. We talked about it on last episode.
you made a post.
I made a freaking post. I got everyone and their mama. I got people who I've never even heard of.
Yeah.
Messaging me, and I go, "Thank you very much. I'm putting you on my list. Like I'll get back with you because I don't have many shows now. I'm trying to build that up." But not everyone can feature for all the comedians.
How many
or whatever.
non-comedians reached out to you?
No, everyone who sent me messages
Were
were
like legit?
Like
Okay.
legit in that they like, here's what I've done, here's this. They had something. It wasn't like just like, hey, I've done one open mic, but yeah, I'm tired of the drama. I'm tired of the whiny people. I'm tired. But I've been doing this so long, and it goes through phases. But the whiners are coming out, and like all this kind of relates to the same thing. It's just a certain point where it's like you're a freaking adult. Some of you have kids. Some of you are married. Some of you have jobs. Grow up, be an adult, and like just understand your role. I'm not the best comedian. I work to try to get into places. I'm very humble when I get into a place. I'm respectable. Respectful of your show and everything. I may not be respectful. I'm respecting your show. I respect rooms. Rooms are special places for me. Shows are special places for me. They carry a lot of weight. And so does Tyler. But so do I.
God damn you, you can't even reach me for all of that.
Sorry, this podcast is getting too
You're
deep.
punching
I'm just looking
above
for
your weight class.
Oh boy! I'm across the table, reason for the marinara sticks. I'm trying to get us more clips.
I wish we had some marinara.
Me too. I could eat.
Yeah.
So could I. It's a thing, and it's like you look at us getting booked, or any of us. We're not assholes. We're not whining. We're respectful, and just be respectful. And I'm tired of a comedian messaging me going, why you're not, so and so wants to know why you're not booking them, and I've not heard from that person in forever.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. I think there might be an overlap here too with
our waistlines. Thank you. See, I brought it back to me. I have Velcro belt.
With somebody being delusional just about where they're at. I mean, like you have to be understanding. Don't compare. This is where the overlap is. They're comparing themselves to people around them who are being booked. Mm-hmm. And that's the number one problem, I think, is just they're comparing themselves to anyone else at all. Because you have no idea why you're not being booked. If you don't have an answer, then you're clueless. If you should be able to tell why you're not being booked, whether it's that person's overly picky, you're not good enough yet. But until you start being honest with yourself, it doesn't really matter. You're just going to be on our Hack Watch segments forever.
Forever. All right.
That was hacks.
No, that was hacks. Watch.
Hacks watch. Hacks. H-A-X.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan watch. To our sponsor, Ounce of Hope Aquaponic Cannabis Company. Ounce of Hope provides high-quality CBD and Delta-8 through an advanced aquaponics system for the utmost in quality products. Check them out at ounceofhope.com. Lucia Bakehouse is a small batch from scratch bakery. Step into a world where traditional craftsmanship meets modern flair and indulge your senses in the exquisite artistry of their creations. From buttery croissants that shatter with each bite to innovative twists on classic pastries, Lucia is here to refine your pastry expectations. Visit them today, Lucia Bakehouse.
Want to give a big shout out and thanks to our sponsor, Gator Custom Graphics. They are a local full-service sign shop specializing in banners, wide format printing, and vehicle graphics. From your business card to your storefront, Gator has your sign and printing needs covered. Check them out at GatorCustomGraphics.com.
All right, now we're going to Rex.
Yeah, you start. We're going to that side of the table now. He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready.
No, I wasn't ready.
All right, I'll start.
All right, thank you.
Last year in May, I was given an opportunity to open for the very funny Will Merrill for his special that was recorded in this very fucking room. And Will is such a beast. Will is somebody that I looked up to from the beginning when I first started comedy. Will is one of the first headliners that I saw. I mean, we were all young, but Will was already years into this game and somebody that I looked up to from the beginning. When Will asked me to open for him, that meant so much to me because it told me that all the work that I was putting in was being recognized by my contemporaries and my peers. And huge shout out to Will. That special is now out. It is on YouTube. It is called Random. You can find it on Will Merrill's YouTube. Also, go check out his album Work, a great album as well.
With an eye.
Both of them recorded by JP Leonard.
I recorded the audio. The video was recorded. The last one, Random, was recorded here at Club 337. Yeah.
I had a great time on that show. I watched the special this week. Excellent. I know it wasn't the craziest crowd. It wasn't. I think we were overall kind of disappointed by the lack of turnout, especially since there were no comics. I feel like that was the...
Can I... This is going to be a hack watch. Like, when someone records a special... You freaking support them. And also, if you're getting like even freer, you pay a $5 donation because it helps them go back. But that was disappointing in many facets. That the amount of comedians that were here was slim to none.
It was our scene pretty much. It was Lafayette.
A few people.
Look,
and you had like one from Baton Rouge.
We don't expect comedians to go to every show. I sure as hell don't go to every show. I don't need to see these guys bomb any more than I already do. However, there comes a time when there needs to be a call to action, and when your homie is recording a special, that is that time.
That's why it's called special.
I'm proud that I was here, and it is a great amount of comedy. It's the perfect amount of comedy.
It was 16 fluid ounces of comedy in a beaker.
That's my Rex.
All right, Drew.
Okay, I was thinking about this. It's close to something that's pretty mainstream, but I don't think a lot of people have seen this. There's the show Curb Your Enthusiasm. Okay, Curb Your Enthusiasm, though, was originally just supposed to be a special, a Larry David special, and it was supposed to be... They had, sometimes you'll watch a comedy special and they'll have like sketches in the beginning or something.
Right.
Like so it starts like that, but then it ends up being an hour long, and then at the end he decides to not tape it. Like he does where like Cheryl Hines plays his wife, and which she ends up playing his wife like in the show. And basically what he's gonna do is he's gonna film a special. So he's going to go work out material in clubs. And it shows him doing some material in clubs. And then some other funny things happen that like you would see on Curb Your Enthusiasm now. But then the whole thing goes, and then it ends up not being a comedy special other than the clips you see of the material in the clubs. But that was the thing that gave him the idea. After they saw that, they're like, oh, this should be a show.
That was the idea for Curb?
That sparked the idea for the show.
That's
was
crazy.
After they watched that, it was so funny.
What's it called?
It's called Curb Your Enthusiasm. Just like the show. But they didn't know
it's not confusing at all.
I mean, it's easier to remember. It's one fucking name.
Yeah.
But,
it's like an hour or something? What is?
Yeah, you'll see. Because if you like go put it in the search bar like on HBO Max, it'll pop up. The two things will pop. The show will pop up, and that special, and you'll be able to see one has episodes and one is only one thing.
All right. You watch Curb?
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, it's
good.
fantastic.
Never seen it.
It's great.
That and Arrested Development are like on my...
Yeah, that's good binging.
Yeah, I'm going to do it one day.
I have a theory
What is it?
Oh, boy.
about, because Curb Your Enthusiasm was on the last season. Remember the Seinfeld finale? They went to prison for a year, and people got kind of pissed off about it, and they thought it sucked. I think that he's going to end this show the same way.
Oh, Jesus. Nice.
I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to spoil if people aren't.
Yeah, if you haven't
kept
seen the
up with
finale
it.
of Seinfeld,
Well,
we
no,
don't
I
wanna
mean,
spoil it. No, okay.
I don't want to say the clues that I think he's
All right.
leaving in case people haven't started watching the new season. But Larry David strikes me as the kind of guy that would do that to his fans.
Nice. All right. I'm in. Now I'm going to binge that. Michael?
So for pods, the ones that I really don't ever skip are You Made It Weird, Pete Holmes, Blocks, Neil Brennan, Working It Out, Mike Birbiglia. Those are kind of the tone that I enjoy. So those are some good podcasts you should subscribe to on YouTube. I personally think that the Nothing Personal special from David Spade that came out in 2022 was... I don't know if I remember laughing more intensely at any special that I have seen than
Whoa.
that special.
He's so good. I love
I'm
David
gonna have to
Spade.
check that out. What's it called?
yeah, it's
Nothing personal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, and he's touring on, or he's going to be in New Orleans soon.
Yeah,
right?
I loved his. I think when he was coming, we already had a show, so I couldn't go see it. But his talk show, I freaking loved.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was freaking great. you
Yeah.
know, so you know,
Yeah,
Comedy
that's
Central.
just more of that too. And then the Domino Effect Part 2 has come up a couple times on our podcast. Ali Sadiq's most recent special.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, he's one of my top 5 favorite comedians, I think, in the country right now.
All right, so I got mine because it's in my iTunes thing, and I forgot about this because it comes out March 8th, but it is Caitlin Palufo, our first guest, her new album, Dirty Bird.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell
I'm
yeah,
so
dude.
excited for that. I can't tell you how
Bro,
much I love
Talk about,
Yeah.
this is going to
Caitlin
be killer.
Palufo.
Like,
She's a beast. She's the most fearless. And like my first time in New York, when I watched Attell, Godfrey, all those people, but I told her to her little face, your set, her set was, her normal size face was, she's a hobbit, guys.
she has a regular face, but she holds like a little face.
Yeah,
and
she's
you told her to-
she's two-faced. All right,
Yeah.
thank you. Her album, her sets are amazing.
Yep.
She's fearless. She is a force to reckon with. She intimidates me when I first saw her.
Yeah.
But she is the sweetheart, and she is so good. So Caitlin Palufo, Dirty Bird, March 8th, coming out on the iTunes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Dave.
Days. Man, the only thing I got, I think that's any different than you, JP. Because we've got Adopted Dog next Wednesday. Adopted Dog Brewing. The I was almost gonna say rematch.
The rematch.
Comedians versus dogs.
Bitches going down. Thank you. Clip it.
The rebooking.
The rebook.
The rebooking. Adopted Dog Brewing. Then Rally Cap. The very
Yep.
same weekend.
So Adopted Dog is February 28th here in Lafayette, and then March 1st is Rally Cap
Yep.
in Baton Rouge.
On March 15th, I will be in Beaumont with this guy
Yes.
at the Soggy Bottoms,
Gross.
doing some work
I
out
bet
there
you will
with
be.
409 Comedy. They keeping things
they
nice
clean-
and
they have a
clean.
clean- damn it.
Yeah. Don't worry, dog. I got the jokes here.
All right.
I got them.
Spick and span sets. All
Wait,
right.
it's a clean set?
Yep. No.
409 cleaner.
409.
Oh. See,
Roll the
that's what I was
credits.
talking about earlier, man.
We'll be
I
right
gotta-
back.
I need to learn how to flip the funny switch.
Let's go to the sponsor, 409. No.
All right, that's it. Follow me at the Tyler A. Go subscribe to my YouTube. I need those numbers up. I have more YouTube subscribers than Lafayette Comedy, and if that ever changes, then I will be upset. So keep me on the up. Tyler Arceneaux, the Tyler A. Everywhere. I'm everywhere. I've been everywhere.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna keep talking.
Cut him off.
All right, First Five Podcast. Well, anyway, yeah, First Five Podcast. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, also on YouTube. I think I'm doing the Hair of the Dog show with y'all also. The Beaumont thing. And March 4th, I'm doing a roast battle at OB's
Monday,
in Lake
March 4th.
Charles. Monday, March 4th. I don't know who all's on it or who I'm up against.
A regular
yet,
roast
but
battle?
as far as I know, yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's just a regular roast battle. And as of right now, I think that's all I got other than what's going to happen before this comes out.
Yep.
So
Yeah. All right, Michael.
Follow me on Instagram at Michael Corey Comedy. You should definitely check out and subscribe to the First Five podcast. I don't know when this is coming out, so I've got this Sunday. So I will have just done a Wait What show the Friday before this comes out.
Michael did great.
Yeah.
He hit all of his things, and the crowd drank a bunch, and he was not thrown off at all, and it was excellent.
Yes.
Yeah, and
I'm manifesting this for him.
Thank you.
All that stuff earlier he was talking about getting better at.
He did it.
He did it.
Yeah.
And he made amends with his Hack Watch person.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
they're married now. He's in a open relationship.
Yeah.
Let's see. I will be.
Flip it.
I will be at OB's on February 26th. That's this coming Monday. We have a fundraiser show for John Merrifield's tour, so that's coming up. We've got I will be on that adopted dog show too on Wednesday. We have Stone Drunk Sober coming up in March on the 19th. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 16th.
I'll get to it.
Okay. My bad.
You got Gator Fight March 2nd?
Gator Fight's coming up on March 2nd. And then anything else is too far away, so we'll plug it on our own shit.
All right. So here we go. Something that's been said before besides all the other ones. March 2nd, Gator Fight, 2 shows at Gator Cove Wildcat Brewing. We had to do 2 shows this time, so that's going to be a barn burner. March 4th, Steve Lally. He's been here before. He wrote and toured with Cat Williams. He had a podcast with Eddie Pepitone. That's a Monday night, 7:30 show. March 7th, that's a Thursday, the legendary Paula Poundstone at the Acadiana Center for the Arts. Those tickets are flying. Get on those tickets. March 8th, the return of Shane Moss, A Better Trip. This is a interactive show. There's going to be a projector. He has a guy across the country who is putting stuff on the screen as he says it. It's very, very crazy. I don't know how the Wi-Fi is going to hold up. March 9th, I am hosting 2 shows at the Hyman Center for Cajun Comic
Breaking
Relief.
on through the Hyman.
Break on through to the Hyman side.
Boudreaux and Thibodeau.
I'm going to do some inappropriate jokes. I'm going to do my Hyman joke. You can't stop me. Tuesday, March 12th, Gareth Reynolds will be here. You know him from the Dollar Podcast. He's also doing the podcast, everybody.
This one.
This
I was
one.
about to say.
He's doing our podcast. We've got an agreement. So will Shane Moss. So we're kicking up. Saturday, March 16th, Stone versus Drunk versus Sober here. March 21st, Mike Eaton. More like eating a lot. Am I right? He's overweight. Sorry, Mike. I love you, but get ready. We're doing a special show Thursday for normally our open mic at Legends Pub. The first hour is going to be a book show. Him and 2 comedians, plus Tyler's going to be on there and whoever else. And then we'll do an open mic. March 23rd here. In Lake Charles, Stone versus Drunk versus Sober. We're bringing it back to Lake Charles. And then Daddy's leaving for Austin for 2 nights. And then March 26th, someone's getting destroyed as Steve Hostetter returns. And closing out the night, the month, 2 more shows, Karen Feehan and Aaron Putman. You know Karen Feehan. You should. And then on March 30th at Citated Arts, Neil Rubenstein. So much. We got Bobby Kelly, we got Dusty Slade, we got Chris Porter, so many more coming. Lafayette Comedy on all the socials. I am at the JP Leonard on all that stuff too. Please subscribe to the YouTube for Lafayette Comedy. We got to build this up so we start getting paid. And thanks to our sponsors, you'll see in the ads. And that's it. I love comedy.
And we are dying down here. We just hold this?
Just keep holding. I'm not cutting. Hang on. 3, 2, 1. We're dead. Good night.